And it's wonderful to welcome you to Newcastle for our first broadcast of 2017, the unofficial start of the Rugby League season, but a night of great celebration for the game. The conditions are anything but what we're used to during the Rugby League season proper, but this All-Stars showdown remains one of the highlights on the Rugby League schedule each season. And this match is very much driven by the notion of unity and a convergence of cultures around the game of rugby league. And tonight brings to a culmination a week of cultural and community initiatives, which have seen the Indigenous and World All-Stars teams visit schools and junior clubs to spread those important messages of tolerance and acceptance. On the field, it is this world team seeking a second successive victory in the match. They'll be welcomed, of course, by some wonderful scenes there. Preston Campbell on his didgeridoo. The man of the match medal in this contest is named after. It was won for the first time back in 2010 by Jonathan Thurston, who co-captains the Indigenous side alongside Greg Inglis tonight. But this is a very, very different looking World All-Stars team to the one which won last year at Suncorp, 12 points to 8. They'll have 17 players donning the World All-Stars jumper for the first time. There's Thurston, a leader of this team, but so much a leader of Indigenous culture and a leader of the nation on the sporting field. His impact on the game and on his culture, so important, along with Greg Inglis and each of these Indigenous and World All-Stars players tonight. We'll take you down to the field of play now for the pre-match ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem, to be performed in a Wabakal language by Alexa Elborn and in English by Emily Woodamurra. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Alexa Elborn and Emily Woodamurra. And please remain standing for a moment's silence as we pay our respects to members of the stolen generation and to remember loved ones that are no longer with us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are now just moments away from kickoff.
So shortly, the war dance from the Indigenous All-Stars team, which will be led by Greg Inglis, who did that so magnificently last year. It really blew us away when we saw that for the first time at Suncorp Stadium. Jonathan Thurston and Jake Friend, along with Grant Atkins, one of our referees tonight. A pre-match photograph. And we are set up very nicely for one of the feature evenings on the schedule. It's been an important week for the Indigenous team in particular. The theme this week has been around celebrating the success of the Indigenous culture. And we prepare now for the Indigenous war cry. powerful and passionate, and I think for a large part of that, for the World All-Stars, it was quite petrifying to be opposing the Indigenous team led so magnificently there by Tyrone Roberts and Greg Inglis, but a wonderful show of solidarity at the end with the two teams coming together to shake hands. It's truly something, isn't it? Well, the crowd liked it. There's an energy across this superb ground, which has become a real showcase venue. It's hosted international games. McDonald Jones Stadium, as it's now known here in Newcastle. We saw the Australia-New Zealand test here early last season, and now the All-Stars clash for the first time in New South Wales to be hosted on this ground as well.
Yeah, they're naming rights for the next 5 years. And a lot of the players in the world side tonight, their first appearance in this game. So a real experience for them. The most experience when it comes to matches played, Jonathan Thurston and Joel Thompson both have 6 matches under their belt. It stands 3-3 at the moment. They've had 6 series played, 3-3, so the winner tonight takes that slender advantage.
Yes, and you mentioned Joel Thompson there, Peter, the winner of the Ken Stephen Medal last year. And that recognition primarily around his work with young Indigenous people in a mentoring capacity for a number of different causes.
And this game does go into hiatus next year because of the World Cup. So we won't see it again for a little while as Atkins gets the players back on side. Here we go.
The whistle blows for the first time in 2017. We're about to embark on a long and enjoyable journey right throughout the Rugby League season. And we start here with the NRL All-Stars. And good to see Regan Campbell-Gillard back out on the field following a terrible back injury late last year, round 25. He spent 3 months on the sidelines with fractured vertebrae, the Penrith front rower. Now Moroa of the Parramatta Eels up to his own 40. Kyle Turner in there along with Andrew Fafita, coached by Mal Meninga this week. The Australian coach, and so much controversy around his omission from the Four Nations squad at the end of 2016. Jake Friend away, Mitchell Moses, and Moroa again. He was targeted by Ryan James, the Gold Coast Titans captain. Good solid contact there as Moses goes high and long with his first kick of the night. Taken by Jack Whiten on the Indigenous All-Stars goal line. He comes back beyond the 10. He looks in good shape, Jack Whiten. People close to the Indigenous camp this week say he's been among the most impressive in preparations. The Canberra Raiders custodian, one of only 2 of these Indigenous All-Stars backs yet to play State of Origin football. The other, Ash Taylor, but both of those 2 men surely destined for higher honours as their careers progress. 4 plays gone, and James playing at 5 short of halfway, and Turner now over the halfway line. Bryce Cartwright there in jumper 12. He swaps the Penrith number 6 to the World All-Stars number 12 jumper tonight. David Mead playing fullback, the new recruit for the Brisbane Broncos, the Titans' leading try scorer of all time. Makes the trip up the freeway to be coached by Wayne Bennett from this year. A change of clubs too for that man, Nene McDonald. Off to St George Illawarra, there's a good shot. That's Wade Graham on Jared Beale. 2 clubmates coming together. So if you needed some evidence that they're fair income, that was it. Here's Jordan McLean. 5 gone. In by. Had to bend down low to take that and hurry a left-footed kick away. It's been spilt back there by Blake Ferguson, who's been to the Peter Sterling hairdresser during the off-season.
Had a bit of a chat to him. He said it was an important game, so he shaved down for it, and rightly so. And they did make it easy there for the Indigenous All-Stars to come up with some big shots, the world side. They were very bunched, no width in their attack, so we did see players coming up and in to try and get that shoulder in as Indigenous All-Stars through Nathan Peets take it outside their 40.
There's a real strike in this Indigenous side, and Joel Thompson with a storming run. Thompson inside the 20. They come from behind to tackle him, and they won't because Bird has scored. His first touch in Indigenous colours sees him go over the line, but Grant Atkins wants to check.
I've tackled 4. I have a try. Please confirm grounding.
I don't think there's any doubt that this will be confirmed. What a wonderful job there from Joel Thompson. Did absolutely everything right.
Looking to see that possession is maintained and the ball is grounded on the line.
Well, that confirms it. Jack Bird.
We see that possession has been maintained, now confirming that the ball is on the line. We see in this shot that the ball is grounded on the line, have a decision and going to the board.
It'll be green lights coming up for the Indigenous team, and it's Jack Bird who has got them on the board first. You rejoin us as Jonathan Thurston sends this conversion over from right in front to give his Indigenous All-Stars team a 6-0 lead against the world team. Let's head down to Brad Fittler for the first time tonight in commentary. G'day, Freddie.
Tomo, got Andrew for feeder. How is it, the conditions, mate?
It's good. It's a bit warm, a bit sweaty, and, you know, the ball's a bit slippery, but we'll go all right.
Nice to get off to a good start.
Stay back.
Who are you running at? Come on, who are you running at?
I don't know, mate.
Looks fit, doesn't he, Andrew Fafita?
Wait.
He's got a point to prove this year. He's off the back fence. Here he comes. He was running at McLean and he was running at Maroa. There's the answer to Brad's question. As long as he's not running at me. Now Kyle Turner. Solid shot, Cartwright. That's the 30-metre line. They go over it now through Inglis. He looks recharged. He hasn't got the knee strap for the first time in a long time either, Inglis. Now Taylor sends the pass away to Whiten, who loops it to Ferguson. Tries to turn Nene McDonald inside out. But the new Dragons recruit puts him to ground, 31 short of the line. Bird to Ash Taylor. To Thurston. To James. Good footwork at the line. He's tackled 23 short. Peets to Thurston, who hits that flat and then sends the kick up in the air. Uarte, oh, he juggled. He lost it forward.
Uarte.
Only a knock on. There was a hit of an offside there, but that kick does reap dividends in the end for the Indigenous All-Stars side.
Well, they've really fired out of the blocks, haven't they, the Indigenous boys? Peter Sterling, looking at it from up here, it looks like they've played together forever, doesn't it? Their first few attacking sets of 6, just the body language and the communication between the players is extraordinary.
They could have even had more joy there, Gus. Jack Whiten short cut-out pass where if he'd just gone through the hands, they'd established a 2-on-1 overlap. So they're certainly having joy down there. They've obviously had a good week together in camp. And here they attack again. Taylor to Inglis. Oh,
now to Whiten. Oh, that's brilliant. A huge gap for Blake Ferguson to exploit. And Australia's best player throughout the 4 nations has gone over to give the Indigenous All-Stars a 10-0 advantage.
Yeah, that's the side they're attacking, the Indigenous boys. They're attacking the gap between Moses Mbai and Jared Croker. Watch Moses Mbai. He'll come flying in on the Harvey Norman replay. That's the way he defends at the Bulldogs. And Jared Croker has to follow him in. No communication between the halfback, the centre or the winger there. Poor defence from the All-Stars.
Yeah, it's brilliant play by the Indigenous boys. Again, the great combination. But you're right, Joey, that was more defensive error than brilliant play. It was just that the Indigenous boys took advantage of what Moses Mbai created there by coming up and in defence.
And it's happened a few times already in the game, Gus. Moses Mbai defends like the Bulldogs like to defend coming up and in aggressively. And Jared Croker, he's been passive, hanging back to sort out that defensive combination there, the All-Stars.
Darren?
Yeah, Blake, plenty of room down that right side at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit there, a few touches of the ball. I think it's all to do with the guys in the middle there doing a bit of work, so helping us outside back to get a bit of ball.
Oh, mate, keep it going.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
The thing I've really liked has been the involvement of Ash Taylor. You know, you come into this game and you're alongside the world's best, and that man there, Jonathan Thurston, you could probably find it difficult to get into the game, but he's had a lot of touches. He's called the ball to the right when he's wanted it. And Thurston, he just swings it left of the post. 2 tries in rapid succession.
Yeah, really slick. It was good work there by Nathan Peach, who held up the middle, and Joel Thompson showed great speed and strength on the edge. He got around Mbai, through the dummy, and then Jack Bird muscled his way to the in goal. But they look so fast. They look a half step quicker than their opposite numbers at the moment. And that can come from just combination and confidence.
Are you good, Bestie?
Which they're showing really well at the
here
moment.
It comes.
The World All-Stars, they've just got to hang in there for a little while and until their combinations start to come together.
Joey, how do you think you...
Hang on. That doesn't help.
All one way at the moment, isn't it? Andrew, how do you think you'd have handled defending in the centres from a scrum loss? Because that's where Moses Mbai was on that occasion.
Yeah, not very good, Sterling.
You're going to leave me out?
Yeah.
About as well as he would have handled the week leading in.
I'll leave that alone.
I've got some stories about that.
Not for publication.
No.
Is it after midnight yet?
No.
On the line, Moses. Jared.
Here they come again.
So there's the rookie of the year from 2 years ago, Jack Bird, giving it to the incumbent, Ash Taylor. Wonderful first year in the NRL for the Gold Coast. Really carried that team through to the finals, the young halfback. Well, they're leaving the clock in their wake, the Indigenous side. 9 minutes gone, they lead 10-0, and there's more points in the offing. Here's Whiten nearly through. He poked his head through the line, but Beale was there just to stop him. Here's Thurston. Short pass to James. 3 men around the ball for the world team. Moroa the last of them to get off. Here's Turner out the back. Now away from Taylor, and Joel Thompson tries to weave between traffic. A couple short. Here's their final chance on this set. Taylor tries to find the in-goal. Croker's there. There's a mad dash for the ball. It's come for David Mead.
Accidental offside. It's gone from a player from the All-Stars back there, hit Gavin Cooper in the knee. So if it's scrum out here to the Indigenous side.
Oh, so they're going to keep piling on the pressure.
Yeah, nice kick there from the young halfback, Ash Taylor. Overcalled Thurston.
Scrum clock's running.
Dribbled the ball through. The confidence of Ash Taylor there. Talking to people from within the camp, they said this young man on screen, Ash Taylor, has blown the players away by his skill and maturity. So he's in for a huge year this year, Ash Taylor.
Shot clock off. Out.
He feeds the scrum. He finds Thurston. Sweeps the pass out the back. And it's Jack Bird, the opening try scorer of the night. 7 short of the world line. Here's Ryan James now. Doesn't go too far. He's stopped by Jordan McLean. Fafita. Dummies on the wraparound to Nathan Peets, and he stays alive for Fafita. What an effort in the grand final. More than 200 running metres. Peets. James. Just stopped by McLean and Friend. And Mead. Peets tries to go. Lovely hands. It's on the ground. 2 bounces picked up. And they'll scamper over, will they? It's Dane Gagai. Oh. He's wrestling and he's just stopped.
Uarte saves the day.
For how much longer can they keep them out? Inglis goes to dummy half. Sweeps to Thurston. He'll stab a kick over the top. It's not one of his best. It's gone through the hands of Blake Ferguson. And finally, some respite coming for the world side.
Well, they look certain to score again, the Indigenous boys. I think they got in each other's way a little. And then at the end here, he probably zigged when he should have zagged. Great hit by Uarte, strength over the top from Cartwright. And he saved another certain try.
I'm enjoying the way they're attacking the Indigenous boys. Their strength is out wide and their speed out wide in their centres.
Oh, they've turned it over. And Thurston gives it away now to Ash Taylor. The in and away on Croker. Back to Thurston. Time to play some footy, boys. Oh, you betcha! Ash Taylor gets over. The young 7 and the champion 6 coming together.
Stop it.
Ernie, I have tackle 1. I have a try. Please confirm that the ball comes out down the field without a stripping action.
I think it's an offload. One that Jonathan Thurston gleefully accepted.
Looking to determine that the ball has been lost and not stripped. We see the All-Stars have possession at this point in time. Ball still in possession.
It's brilliant football.
The ball's just lost out the back. There's no stripping action.
Oh, good hands.
Brilliant by Thurston. And then the combination between he and Taylor down the right.
Now need to determine that Jonathan Thurston isn't in an offside position when he picks the ball up.
I think the only doubt might have been the last pass, but everything up to that is going to be fine. It's a welcome headache, isn't it, for Neil Henry this year at the Titans, trying to fit 3 into 2. Ash
Looking
Taylor,
to see if the ball touches the Indigenous team at this point.
Tyrone Roberts and Kane Elgey apparently coming along very nicely in pre-season training.
Come on, let's get on with it. Let's get to the good part.
Show the skills.
Yeah, get to the good part. It's a try.
Based on the angles available, we cannot determine that the ball is touching an Indigenous player at this point, and therefore Jonathan Thurston is onside when he picks the ball up.
Beauty. Now let's get on to the other replay, because I want to see Thurston and this young Taylor. What's this? Boom. Out to the right, skip, in and away, back, turn back inside. Thurston, look around, sum it up, over the top, alley-oop. Taylor keeps himself alive.
See who's on the ground.
Don't you dare take this try off them. It's brilliant.
He was tackled then, Ash Taylor.
And the ball's been grounded in the goal. Have a decision and going to the board.
Too good. That's what we've come here to see. The exuberance and the skill and the excitement.
All right, to give it, Burn. It's not coming up on the screen here, mate.
All right. So it was a bit of a delay for the chicken, but it arrived eventually. It's 14-0.
It's absolutely brilliant football. And they're just shell-shocked, the other boys.
Is it a welcome headache, Gus, for a coach? Oh, sorry. Thanks, mate. Some of them are best.
8, 7, 6, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ash Taylor scores. Thurston with a chance to convert. And he swings it between them. 16-0. This is an exhibition, Brad Fittler.
Yeah, we've Jared Bill. Mate, not much going your way.
No, it's been a pretty rough start for us. I think we just need to, once we get the ball, hold it and just get down the other end.
All right, good luck with that. Hey, Cardi, how you going out there?
How you going?
Make some tackles, brother.
Easy to say when you're retired, old mate. Very good. We thank both the teams for giving us this access on the field as well. We're playing quarters tonight. We should remind you at home if you've joined us late. So heading in towards it, the first break of the night. 6.5 minutes to go before we'll have a drink.
Did we get access, or did just Freddie?
Freddie, yes, that's right.
Took it upon himself.
Freddie just ran on the field and made a nuisance of himself. Well, it's a warm night, and when you look at 53 tackles against 25 and the scoreboard leading the way it is at the moment, you wonder what might happen at the back of the game. Here's Ryan James. Beyond his own 40. Taylor's been one of the stars so far, and Joel Thompson now. What can he produce for St George Illawarra this season? Kyle Turner from South Sydney. Suffered that really troubling neck injury wearing an Indigenous All-Stars jumper a couple of years back. The chase is on here. Oh, Duarte spilt the beans! Picked up by Mitch Moses.
It was one of those floating bombs from Thurston. And when it came down, it was floating through the air. Poor Duarte. He was thousands of catching that one. See, Thurston holds the ball flat and hits it right in the belly of the ball. That's what makes the ball float. Look at it floating down. Then you're impossible to catch.
Yeah, an off-season change for Uarte. Off to Manly next season as the world side keeps him alive. Cartwright coming back centre field looking for support. Now the last.
Holds the club record for tries at this club. 110 tries for Newcastle, but a chance to reinvent his career for Uarte. So finally this world team gets to a kick, but it wasn't particularly deep, but now the Indigenous side can run back within 12 of the halfway through an incumbent night in Dane Gagai. Now Inglis. Good solid defence there from Gerard Beale and also Mitchell Moses. First into Taylor to Jack Bird. Met by McLean of the Melbourne Storm. And Moses Mbai from the Bulldogs. Now for Fita. Strong start from him again. Offloads to Thurston. Jack Whiten wasn't expecting that. It went over his shoulder. Had to run back and pick it up, and he was able to do that. He's stopped by Campbell Gillard. You can see the Fijian flag embossed on the number of Regan Campbell Gillard, jumper number 10 for the World All-Stars. And that's a feature of this World team. You can see on the rear of their jumper some of the colours of their heritage. Fiji for Uarte, David Mead there from Papua New Guinea.
Well, they've just been blown off the park in the early stages. There's no real semblance of cohesion in the World All-Stars team. They're really going to need a run of possession just to settle themselves into the action.
Just wait, Mitchell, I'll tell you when.
Our premiership starts.
Wait here,
Round 1, Thursday, March 2. Sharks versus Broncos. Sharks are defending premiers. Thursday night, Friday, March 3. Rabbitohs and the Tigers, live and free, 7:30 New South Wales.
Might be a bit of feeling in that one with Robbie Farrer, eh?
Yeah, well, got to make the team, yeah.
Good point. There's the man he's up against, Damien Cook, a World All-Star.
And I'm just glancing at this bench for the World All-Stars. There's not a great deal of experience there. There's, you know, they're all talented players, but not all of them have been at the representative level. And it's, you're wondering whether or not any of them can actually come on and turn this tide at the moment. So the players that are out there at the moment have got to turn the game for them and get some momentum.
Here's Bryce Cartwright, he can do that. The #1 offloader in the NRL of last season with 71 for the season. 20 shorts. Moses, it's the last, what can he do? He goes back to Cartwright. Is there a backhander coming? He's got to get it away, he does, but Uarte had no room at all.
Well, that was really good pressure from Nathan Peets, getting out of marker at the kicker and forcing Mitchell Moses to a decision that he really didn't want to make. Look at Peets, right up in his face, turned him around, and then the defence down that short side. Well, they handled that comfortably.
Oh, ball's on the ground. Knock on against the Indigenous All-Stars.
This is what the world team needed, just a run of possession. And it's a rare error from the Indigenous boys, so it'll give the World All-Stars an opportunity to put some points on the board here.
Big tackle there. This combination on the right for the World All-Stars, Mitchell Moses and Bryce Cartwright. That's what I'd like to see them attack down that right side. Try to get Cartwright one-on-one with Thurston.
Come together!
An offload in him.
Mitchell! Shot clock off. Time off.
That was worth trying. Nobody packed in, we'll feed it. Catch him by surprise.
Mate, that's why I asked you to
school
wait
teacher.
until I tell
Mitchell.
you. Heads in!
Andrew, in the preview, you said that Mitchell Moses, you believe, is a halfback, not a 6. He's a 7.
Yeah, I think he's a genuine first receiver. I thought last year when Luke Brooks and also Robbie Farrer were out of the Tigers team, he went to a whole new level when he was on the ball, got all the quality ball. Got 4 or 5 man of the matches in a row. Here he goes here.
He hits it at the line. Moses showed the pass there to Cartwright, but the defence, they gave him a good shot, didn't they? The 1-2 from Graham and Thurston. They come to the left-hand side. Cartwright first receiver. Moroa second receiver. He's plenty strong, this kid from Parramatta. He's a metre short. Stopped by Fafita. Friend waits at dummy half. We've got 17 seconds before the first quarter break. Jared Beale wants to keep it alive and can't. 2 tackles remain on this incursion down the Indigenous end. Moses kicks to the in goal. It might be too deep. It won't matter because we're about to head for a break. An opening quarter dominated by the Indigenous side to the tune of 16-0. The NRL All-Stars here from McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. It was a blistering start to this All-Stars clash in the first quarter. The Indigenous team leads 16-0. We head down to Brad Fittler.
Yeah, listen, the Indigenous, Kenny Nagus, the assistant coach, he took control early. He just spoke about jamming their team in. He reckons they can't pass around in these conditions. Nathan Peets then jumped in and just said, we need our third bloke coming in and making our tackles and slowing the other team down. He pointed out Regan Campbell-Gillard as the one bloke from the other team who he feels like a real threat. Thursday coming to the end, but it was all about defence. Lockie, what about the World All-Stars?
Well, it was pretty obvious, Freddie, they're going to hold the football. Mel's taken off his whole forward pack and taken Mitchell Moses off, so he's got fresh forwards there. He wants to control the first couple of rucks in attack and defence, and especially put some pressure on the Indigenous kicking game, especially JT, so look for that. Up to you, Matt.
Thank you, Darren.
Yeah, mate.
Bessie. Rico.
So 7 players each on the benches tonight as well for a match of unlimited interchange. So there'll be the opportunity for coaches to chop and change things, and it's Mal's team that has a few questions to answer. There's one of the fresh players, Sam Lasone of the New Zealand Warriors. Really hitting hard. There's Leilani Latu in 14 from the Penrith Panthers. Graduated to the Indigenous All-Stars team last year, Leilani Latu, on the back of just 6 NRL games. Scored a try as well.
And it gave him a lot of confidence playing in this game. And he went on to have a really good back end of the season with the Panthers, establishing himself very much as one of their regular NRL players. He's still a player of great potential.
Just an error there. Jordan Turner, I think, has gone on the field to replace Mitchell Moses. Mightn't understand his accent.
Well, he's got a very diverse background. His mother was born in Wollongong, and his father is of Jamaican descent. He's playing in Canberra this year, Jordan Turner. Now Graham busts through. He stopped a couple short of the line. Sione Matauti is out there in the headgear in 18 as Thurston distributes away. And Fafita still going strong following the opening quarter of the match. Centre of the field here. Pete sends it away. Thurston, first receiver. Lovely hands, Graham, to Whiten, who was charging. But Matautia was able to stop him around the legs. Sent away on tackle 5 to Thurston. Aimed to the in-goal. Croker.
I got it, mate.
Half mishandled it. Half was happy to see it go dead.
He hits this pretty hard, Thurston, but he shapes the ball away from the dead ball if you watch closely. The ball, once it crosses the try line, will bend away from the dead ball line. Just bananas it around. Tremendous control there under pressure by Thurston. Look, see the angle of the ball, he hits the ball.
Okay, here we go.
They're doing it really well, the Indigenous side, getting the ball back to the centre. They'll work to an edge, and they'll go back, and they're set up both ways. They've got Taylor to the right, Thurston to the left. They make the decision which is the best way to go. As Latu winds it up. Have a strong run.
He looks trimmed down, Latu, and ready to rock in 2017.
He was a try scorer in this game last year, and there weren't many scored.
12-8 was the score. Thurston, Graham, Thurston, away to Inglis. It was too flat.
Okay, where's everyone?
I'll go with it.
That's right.
Yeah, and very dangerous if he'd have gone second man. I think that established a 2-on-1 on the outside. He goes short, but Whiten was probably the better target on that occasion with a winger on his outside. They don't often get it wrong.
There wasn't much in it, and they've put together half a dozen little play sequences, haven't they? You can tell that they've given a lot of thought to their football this week amongst all the other community stuff that they've done. You get the impression following it through the media that they're just out enjoying themselves in schools and junior league clinics and riding speedboats on the ocean, but they must be fitting in some training somewhere because you don't play like this without it.
Yes, and on top of that too, Gus, more than 25 current and past Indigenous players had a 2-day camp at the start of the week over at Manly, and it was a camp centred around the ideas of leadership, belonging, cultural heritage and identity, and a number of keynote speakers were involved there as well, among them Linda Burney, the federal MP, and Stan Grant, the prominent broadcaster. And it's a real feature on the calendar of the game, but also for the Indigenous players. There's a high kick from Jordan Turner.
Well, I think what you've got to recognise is that this Indigenous All-Stars team, forget about the concept of Indigenous versus World All-Stars, but the Indigenous All-Stars team itself is probably one of the most important sporting bodies or sporting teams in the country. And I agree with what Jonathan Thurston has said this week, that it needs to play together more often, and we need to find them opposition to play against, even to the point of being a part of the World Cup, in my belief, as a separate entity. Because it is a very, very important sporting team in Australia's landscape.
Well, Gus, when you say find teams to play against, you're talking a combined Pacific Islands, or you're talking the New Zealand Maori?
There's all sorts of tournaments that they can play in. They can play in the World Cup, they can play in Four Nations, they can play in all sorts of things. But I agree with Jonathan Thurston, to see an Indigenous team tour or to play together more regularly, I think does a lot for the growth of our game. Who they play against is really irrelevant, to be honest.
A bloke could play 365 days of the year on the field now. Tyrone Peachey from Penrith. They've just spilt it here, and the world team might get it back. A double knock on, though.
They've created the overlap on the outside, having all sorts of trouble. The world side defending that. You see here the pass, if it doesn't go astray, it's a 2-on-1 on the outside. 3-on-2 now.
Well, Moses Mbai, he's defending up and in. Jared Croker is passive. He's defending and looking to slide towards the sideline. You can see that clip again. You can see Moses Mbai, he comes rushing up. And you watch for the wide headgear. Jared Croker is backing off. Look at Moses Mbai, he's coming up aggressively. And then Jared Croker is backing off. That's why they're creating the overlap on the outside. Those two defenders have to come together and get on the same page.
Matautia was a target there for Inglis. He was awake enough to avoid that, and he gets a penalty as well. Newcastle's Sione Matautia, the youngest player to ever represent Australia. He was on the wing back then. He's now in the forwards for the Knights. That's where the headgear comes into it, you see. Here's Chris McCoy. 19 short. The world team striving for their first points. Mbai ran to the line. Taken by Thompson and James. 11 metres short. Jake Friend distributes from dummy half. Paul Vaughan goes for a run now. The new Dragons recruit for 3 years. He draws a third tackle penalty.
That's not quick.
Well, here's their chance.
They tap and take off. Vaughan runs. There's Chris Smith, who's played barely half an hour of NRL in his 2 appearances for Penrith and the Roosters. Here's a chance. Good defence on goal line there from Peach and Ryan James. It's played by Jordan Turner, and they try to barge over there from a couple of metres out. McQueen stopped. Down underneath was Latu. Friend sends it away to Mbai, to Orbison. Oh, overlap, but they came up and had to make the tackle. Ferguson and Taylor, the ball spews out the back. It's still alive. Here's another chance. And the world team have dropped it this time, and a chance for the Indigenous All-Stars to go on a counter-attack.
Well, great defence from the Indigenous boys there. They really did work together. If there's some miscommunication in the world side, there certainly isn't with the Indigenous fellas. They're all on the same page in attack and defence.
Change out there now for the Indigenous side. Jonathan Thurston getting a rest. Looks like Aiden Caesar. From JT as that short ball from Latu is dropped. There is both ways, world feed.
Gus, you're Mal Meninga. What's the message to the World All-Stars? Where do they attack?
I just keep persevering. I don't know that they've really got their combinations right just yet. I think that probably their best chance will be a Moses and Cartwright get back onto the field. And I just, instead of trying to play both sides of the field, pick an edge. Whether it's right or left, it doesn't matter. But at least then if they know where the ball's headed, they can start to get some plays and run with a bit more confidence. At the moment, they're spreading themselves around a bit thin. Brad Fittler is on the sideline.
JT, how you feeling, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. It was pretty quick out there, so not too bad for a second hit out.
See, drop balls hurt, don't they?
Yeah, they do. We haven't completed our last 3 sets here, so it'll test the boys physically and mentally. So first hit out, not too bad from the boys so far.
Now, how long have you trained? Like, there's been sequences where it looks like you've been a team for a long time. How long have you actually trained on the paddock?
No, we've only had the 2 sessions. First session probably went for an hour. Captain runs probably about 40 minutes, so it's more about getting our defence right and making sure that we're working together in the middle and getting our edges right. So we got through a bit of work in those couple of days, and that's what we needed to do.
Enjoying yourself?
Yeah, definitely. It's always good fun. I like playing here. It's a great ground. It's got the hill obviously there, so I enjoy it.
Unreal. Good start.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Good on you, Brad. Thanks to Jonathan Thurston.
There's an injury here, Matt, to their captain, the World All-Stars, Jake Friend. Roosters, dummy half, you see him there limping off the field from the sideline, seeing the doctors.
Yeah. We'll come and have a look at that. The co-captain of the Roosters, he's joined in that role by Boyd Cordner this year. Here comes Lasoni.
Well, Damien Cook will come into the action now. There he is, at dummy half.
Watch his speed out of dummy half. The number 14, any quick play of the balls, watch him hair out of there. It's lightning.
There he is, Cook. Now to Mbai. Now to David Mead up from fullback. Joel Thompson, very good in defence tonight. There's the 20-metre line. Here's Paul Vaughan. He left Nathan Peets in his wake. Late offload. Cook couldn't hold on to it the first time. He gets it the second. He pivots on the spot and Mbai. There's that customary burst of speed off the mark. 4 short of the line, Moses. Played to Cook, who goes flat to Vaughan, who left it behind. And Aiden Caesar's tackled now for the Indigenous All-Stars. Now Greg Inglis. Taken by Turner high and Matau here around the legs. Dane Gagai! Gagai straight through over halfway. Uarte comes to claim him. And Gagai's lost the ball this time.
Ashley, let him up now. Marcus, straight.
It was a long campaign last year for Dane Gagai and all of Newcastle's players. He scored 3 tries in 22 appearances for the Knights last year and 4 tries in 2 Origin games.
And he's shown great faith in what Nathan Brown is trying to achieve with his local side. The overture is that he might be being chased elsewhere, but he's reaffirmed that he'll be sticking around here and helping out one of the senior players now being an Origin player.
Anthony Tupou announces a signing too for Newcastle throughout the week, so they're looking to build on the back of some experience. 4 plays gone. Cook out to Mbai, short pass, questionable one at that. Orbison put to ground. His first appearance among 17 first gamers in the world team as Cook puts a high one up. Uarte's trying to make a catch on it. He was shielded off the ball there quite nicely by Inglis, and Gagai was able to take it. Whiten tries to run away from his own goal line. But they come up in numbers. And with enthusiasm, McQueen made the tackle. Now Peachy. What a year for Tyrone Peachy last season. 13 tries, 17 line breaks in the centres for the Panthers. He's the ultimate utility player. And a darn good one. Here's Taylor. He had to rush that kick away on the last. It's a wobbly old thing up the middle of the field. Mead picks it up. With that uniform chase there by the Indigenous All-Stars as the new Broncos recruit put down 10 short of the halfway. And then McDonald with a good run there from dummy half.
Mitchell Moses back out there now. As Jared Croker takes it inside the 40. Good play the ball. And there's Paul Vaughan, some open space.
Nearly busting through. Mitch Moses was there supporting off his right-hand shoulder. Good speed and footwork there from Vaughan. Moses, first receiver, tries to shake off Peachy, but Peachy wasn't going anywhere. 11 short of the line. Can the world team find some points from somewhere? Mbai, he'll chip a kicker. And it really wasn't high enough for Nene McDonald to challenge Ferguson underneath it.
Well, Paul Vaughan, he shows the way. That's where I think they should be attacking the World All-Stars, behind the ruck. Play the Indigenous All-Stars around the ruck. Change the direction. Here's young Latrell Mitchell. Big charge.
Oh, Latrell's lost it getting up to play it. There's the bust, and you can see now replay box there.
Everyone's up,
bottom left-hand corner.
The Indigenous team has gone in tonight with only 3 recognised front rowers. Ryan James, Andrew Fafita and Latu on the bench. Where they got to attack around the middle of that field, the World All-Stars.
I'll tell you what, across the board, every player looks fit and healthy, don't they? I mean, they've all had great off-seasons.
Moses, Tattahia, tackled by Graham and James. 16-0, the Indigenous All-Stars over the World All-Stars here in Newcastle, live and free on the wide world of sports. Campbell Gillard there, a couple short of the line. Cook sends the pass out to Mbai, who floats it away. McDonald, good hands, good acrobatics, good desperation. David Mead, he nearly finds the line. He was pushed back. The referees want to have a look at this. I thought he was short at first look.
That'll be tackle 3. That'll be tackle 3. Have a try.
Whoa.
Wow.
We check the knock on, and
Tyrone
then
Peachy, who does what I thought Uarte did at the other end, and that was great upper body strength to stop the try being scored. They're very fortunate here.
Confirming there's no knock on here by the All-Stars.
Because this was very scrappy from the world side.
So at this point, the ball has gone backwards from the All-Stars. The ball is still live at this point. Now going through to the grounding.
Well, he's not on the line there, is he?
No, he's short there.
So at that point, possession to the ground had been maintained. Now need to ensure the ball reached the goal line.
So that's Tyrone Peachy up top. Up against a bigger man in David Mead. And I don't think he's got that ball to the line.
Well, this might be the one, or the quarter post is in the way.
Well, he hasn't.
Well, Grant Atkins has set it to try on the field.
Short.
Yeah.
They're going to zoom and see if the ball is on the line at this point. At this point, there's insufficient evidence to determine the ball is short of the goal line, as the live decision was try.
And if it had been the other way, it wouldn't have been awarded.
Sterling, none from one.
I'm happy to put my hand up for it. I still don't think it's a try.
No.
Of course, different involvement.
We see Cameron 9 is obscured at this point. However, the touch judge had the live decision of try. Based on that, there's insufficient evidence to overturn. Have a decision and going to the board.
Well, there you can see the touch judge does have the best view, so we'll take that on board.
And David Mead for the World All-Stars has scored their first try. So David Mead, in his first appearance for the World All-Stars, has scored his team's opening try of the night, a much-needed one too as we approach the halfway mark. 16-4 kick to come.
It was badly needed, wasn't it? A little bit scrappy. But as they've got a little bit more possession and they're able to keep the Indigenous boys at the other end of the field, they have worked their way back into the contest, and the Indigenous team has come up with a couple of errors under pressure. So that's the formula for the rest of the game. Just try and keep the Indigenous boys at their end of the field.
And Jared Croker can't make it 6 points, so the margin stays at 2 converted tries. Let's go to Brad.
I was with the video referee, Jake Friend. Was that a try?
Try, mate, try.
Saw you walking up the sideline with a bit of a limp. How are you?
Yeah, just a little bit of a cork, so be all good. Stretch it out and I'll be back second half.
Right. Bit of ball makes a difference?
Yeah, mate, that first 20, they were all over us, so I had all the possession, so we've got a bit of ball back here and got a nice little try, so hopefully we can keep that going second half.
All right, good luck.
Cheers, mate.
Good news for all the Roosters fans there. Jake Friend's A-OK. Oh, Campbell Gillard throws everything at the defence. A couple of club mates coming together there. Tyrone Peachy with the tackle on Campbell Gillard. You're right, Gus?
They've been giving it to each other all week. What they're going to do.
I'm his biggest fan, Campbell Gillard. I think he's outstanding and pushed up into the front row early on in his career, and they saw there how he was hit. They still didn't put him on the deck.
There's a change. It's a turnover, turns into a penalty.
All right, well, a couple of minutes to go. And a good run of possession here. If the world side can post points again, all of a sudden we've got a ball game. And the heat's gone out of the other team. Asked to do a little bit more defence and not as much attacking, and suddenly they don't look as sprightly.
Campbell Gillard, he's run strongly all night. They're 20 out now. Here's Damien Cook to Mitchell Moses to Bryce Cartwright, who's back out there, to a charging David Mead, who copped the Fafita treatment. 15 short. Here's McLean giving it to Moses, who tries to run. Caesar stops him along with Wade Graham. Only 6 short of the line. They scored only a couple of moments ago. Can they go bang, bang? Mitch Orbison, lovely one-handed pass to Croker. He'll put McDonald over in the corner.
Let's tackle 4. Have a try. Please confirm grounding.
Yeah, it was a quick grounding and it needed to be. Really good work here. Cartwright coming from right, left. And Jared Croker sums up...
possession has been maintained and the ball has been grounded. Have a decision and going to the board.
Jared Croker sums up the situation really well here. If he'd have passed early, they don't score. But when he got the football, he looked up, he saw if he held on to it, that he could run further with the ball and set his winger up in McDonald. So a nice setup here, Cartwright involved, and just have a look at the work here on the Harvey Norman replay from the man in the headgear there. If he'd have passed, he wouldn't have been able to commit Blake Ferguson, and he was able to by hanging on to the football.
It was a nice sequence from the world team. It was the first time they've actually looked fluid with the ball. The ball came to the left, then they immediately shifted a couple of passes back to the right, and then they backed it up with another shift to the left, and it got the Indigenous boys going sideways and a little bit less confident about how they were going to defend it. And Croker did really well on the end of it to produce a try. So they're back in the game. Big kick at goal, though. from young Croker. He's normally very, very good. If he puts this over, they're within 6 and right back in the game.
Coach Mel Meninga very pleased that it's not as hot as it was earlier. He would sweat in a swimming pool, Big Mel.
Here's Croker from the same spot as the last one, and the same outcome. So as the siren rings out in the background, we've got an 8-point margin. It was 16-0 following the first quarter of the game. It's now 16 points to 8 at halftime. The Indigenous All-Stars leading the World All-Stars. We will take a break. On the other side, James Bracey is joined by Andrew Johns, Darren Lockyer and Brad Fittler to have a look at the first half and tell us what might be coming up in the second half here in the Indigenous All-Stars versus World All-Stars clash here from McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. It's the 2017 NRL All-Stars clash from Newcastle, McDonald Jones Stadium. And that team, the World All-Stars, has some catch-up football to play here as we approach the second half or the third quarter as this game is played. 16 points to 8. The Indigenous team leading this World All-Stars side. But after 3 unanswered tries in the early parts of this game for the Indigenous team, the World All-Stars are able to score twice in the final 4 minutes of the half to make it 16 points to 8. Nathan Peets there played the whole first half. Kyle Turner from South Sydney, along with Ryan James, who has recently completed a degree in business studies at university. And spoken during the week about his desire to pursue rugby league administration or possibly even politics. The Gold Coast Titans captain have his sights set more immediately on a New South Wales State of Origin jumper for this year.
And I note that Jonathan Thurston is back out on the field, so that try before half-time, Laurie Daly's reacted, put his chief playmaker back out there. He was having a bit of a spell. And Mitchell Moses and Bryce Cartwright walking together down the tunnel. Look as though they're enjoying themselves and looking forward to this second half. If they get some ball, they can make it very interesting.
Here's Andrew Fafita. He's played big minutes. So he's had a break at all, actually. And good news there, you can see Jake Friend has returned after looking inconvenienced with a leg problem there in the first half. Averaged 52 tackles per game for the Roosters last year. Jake Friend, the leading tackler in the competition. Oh, Campbell Giller came running out of the defensive line. Fortunately for Kyle Turner, his left foot step was good enough to avoid Campbell Giller. He's been impressive, hasn't he? The Penrith Panthers prop as Graham has it now off Thurston's pass to Mitchell, and Bevan French down the touchline, puts the kick over the top, and Thurston will complete some sparkling rugby league by the Indigenous All-Stars. How good's that, Sterling?
That's a brilliant start to the second half. Running the football on the last tackle, and the kick at the end is a pearler. Not easy to do. Must have come off deliberately the outside of the boot to get it back in field. Thurston first receiver, Wade Graham attracted 2 defenders, and then the kick. That is a beauty. Deliberately, look at the chasers there. Jonathan Thurston leading the way as he generally does. Bevan French, that's great stuff.
A banana kick at full tilt. Amazing skill.
Well, Brad Arthur will enjoy seeing that from Bevan French. Will start at fullback for the Eels this season. And on the Harvey Norman replay, we're always going to run it.
Look at that control. Amazing skill.
What a talent. Bevan French, 19 tries in his 13 games for Parramatta. And he dishes up a kick of substance for Thurston to score. You like that one, Gus?
Brilliant try. Brilliant try. Some really submissive defence by the World All-Star players, particularly I thought Beale and Uarte provided little. Mitchell Moses got himself in a bit of a bind, but brilliantly executed by the Indigenous boys and finished off with the spectacular kick. Brad Fittler, sideline.
Yeah, got Bevan French. What's it feel like to play with some of these legends?
Yeah, it feels awesome, you know, and it's a good atmosphere out here. And yeah, the run along outside these guys like JT and GI, it's and something I won't forget. It's a good feeling.
Can you believe you put the ball to foot and JT catches it?
I just put it on the foot and hope for the best.
I reckon there's a bit more method to it than that.
Stay back. It's amazing, really. Bevan French is from Tinga. Tinga's produced some unbelievable NRL players. Bevan French, that one there, the young guy catching the ball. Owen Craigie, Preston Campbell, Nathan Blacklock.
I remember all the recruitment officers coming back from a carnival where Bevan French was first unearthed. And every talent scout, every player manager was speaking the name Bevan French. His mother got inundated with phone calls, knocks at the door. Everyone was chasing Bevan French.
Couldn't get a hotel room in Tinga that weekend, Gus.
No.
Here he is again.
Just on that kick, that's a much easier kick for a right footer on this side of the field. You're actually kicking with the inside leg. So to get it in the right place and to hit it right, it's very skillful as the Indigenous side on a roll now early in the second half. And Gagai bouncing off a couple.
The town was so full, they were camping on the footy field. They had to get him off in the morning. Thurston sends one towards Uarte, who will take this comfortably in the end goal.
Whistle. Let me know when it runs back.
You're in control.
Wait for the tap.
I guess there's some question marks over Bevan French's size and moving to fullback on a permanent basis, but it should be remembered that he played, I reckon, the last half a dozen games for Parramatta at fullback last year.
Preston Campbell was half the size.
Yeah.
He won a Dally M medal. Speed, baby. We all look at size and now athletes in the game. These young guys grow up playing rugby league from the time they can
here's
walk.
a good catch. Sorry, Andrew. Here's Mead. Speaking of pace, he's got plenty of it. Inglis was there to stop him. 15 out. Moses comes back at them, finds Cartwright. One-handed offload. Beale goes to ground under the tackle of Ryan James. Moses again, left foot step, straightens once more, tries to duck underneath Peace. Can't advance beyond 5 metres short of the line. Friend away and by. Left foot kick. He wants a jumper. Oh, up they go. Stray arm. Ferguson will get a penalty.
Yeah, couldn't help himself. Nene McDonald. Scything tackle from Greg Inglis on David Mead. You can see that Inglis has moved back to fullback with Jack Whiten on the sidelines. And a pretty tame end. The world starts with that kick, giving away a penalty.
There's Caesar in 16, playing first receiver there from the restart. Moreau in 13 to tackle. They're on for feeder. Now, Tyrone Peachy goes to ground. Taken by Gavin Cooper, who's had a stint on the bench, and Moses Mbai up from Caesar to Thurston to Turner. The two Penrith boys, Campbell, Gillard and Cartwright, stop his run. Graham, ever present on that left edge, finds Latrell Mitchell, who featured in all of the Roosters games last year in his first season at NRL level. Thurston shows and goes. Can't get past Campbell Gillard. I feel like I've been saying his name all night. Regan Campbell Gillard. Caesar with a high one. Uarte takes it. And runs back at them. He's stopped by Ryan James.
He's got through a mountain of work, Regan Campbell-Gillard. He's had a wonderful off-season after that serious injury at the back end of last year. He's made a terrific recovery and given himself every chance of a real good season.
The only criticism is that Freddie Mercury moustache looks like it's making a comeback again.
I don't mind it. Yeah, look at that.
There it is.
Well, your endorsement should be enough for him to shave it off. Here comes Croker.
Release. He's fucking milking it.
Mbai sends it away. Now Moses, he's got a disjointed defensive line to run at, and he lost the footy. And Andrew Fafita gives it away to Inglis. The crowd want to see GI bust away, and that's what he's done. He's got Thurston there. He steamrolls over the top of him. Oh, this is unfair. Inglis is swatting them like flies on a 60-metre run upfield. They're like mosquitoes. Now Thurston, he's already scored once. He goes at them. Inglis stays down. Peachy, meantime, within 8 metres of the line. That was awkward.
You end up in a dangerous position.
Inglis, he's all right. He wants the trainers to go away.
Okay, just wait, Nathan.
And they're going to.
Take it back here, Joey.
Saw that in an under-7s game once where the big kid got the fend into the chest of 3 littler defenders.
Not from the tap.
It'll be hard to hold out here, the Indigenous boys. They're on a roll. Fafita now inside the 10.
Oh, there's the backhanded flick from Fafita. Taken by Gagai. Gagai tries to stand them up. Cooper jams in along with Mbai. And Jordan McLean, they only just got him to the ground. Cooper concedes the penalty.
Nathan. That close?
Let's tidy it up in here, boys.
Nathan.
Tidy it up down here. Back.
When you're ready.
This world team are just happy to be sucking in some deep breaths at the moment. Fafita's still going. Oh, he's lost it.
Yeah, just let everyone get up here.
Well, you don't expect to see this at this level, do you? Just watch this. Fafita does really well, gets a nice little flick pass onto him. Now watch this. Get out of the way, get out of the way. Who's next? Now, you get out of the way too, and you. He's extraordinary. Here's the bobble from Fafita.
He's a very big man, Tepai Marawa. He just brushed him with ease.
Everyone's here.
Let's go to you, Darren.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed tonight with Greg Inglis, he's got no strapping on his legs, which is a good sign, but we don't want to get an injury tonight. But Kenny Nagas was on the sideline here, and they're screaming to get him off, but he doesn't want to come off, so that tells you what it means to him.
Oh, Croker's lost it now.
Oh, there could be an injury here, Matt.
Time is off.
Screams out in pain.
Yes, mate.
Ooh.
Tackle 1.
Yes, well, as great a contest and an event as this is, what we don't want to see is a serious injury to a player that will affect their longer-term season. And, oh, dear, we might have just seen it.
Yeah, that left knee looks like it got buckled underneath there. NRL leading point scorer the last 2 seasons.
Oh, dear. Oh, that's desperately sad.
Somehow still an underrated player in the game, which is quite remarkable, isn't it?
Well, we'll take a short break while Jared Croker's getting some treatment here at 22-8. Yeah. Oh, right, yeah, cool. So Jared Croker being helped up the tunnel for examination. We'll keep you posted on the prognosis for him. He's played 89 straight NRL games for the Raiders and has been one of the most enduring players in the competition. In the meantime, the game rolls on at 22-8. Thurston, away to Inglis, away to Gagai. Moses and Friend. They stop him 5 metres out. They'll be hard to hold here, the Indigenous All-Stars. They get a penalty once more.
One was a dangerous.
Not quick inside 10, mate.
Latrell Mitchell, Wade Graham, Ryan James. Stopped by Paul Vaughan and Tepai Maroa. That's the 10-metre line for Feeder. Caesar wraps around the back. The hands were scintillating there from Inglis, but the ball was lost. And it's been called back.
Inglis, he was looking for the cutout pass there to his wingman. And it was the right pass. Have a look at Inglis. Gets the ball under pressure. And he sees the winger, McDonald, wedging in. He was looking for that long pass to Ferguson. It's the ability of Inglis, the vision to catch and then to throw the long balls knocked down by McQueen.
There was 3 knock-ons there. McQueen gets a touch, Gagai knocks on. And then McDonald.
Shot clock is off. Hold, put it in. Out. Shots on.
There's Mbai with the tackle on GI. They're just knocking at the door, this Indigenous All-Stars side. It hasn't opened up as yet for the last few minutes or so. Here's Thurston, turning it to Graham. Sam Lasone in jumper 16 for the World teams back out there. Pete sends it away to Ryan James. He'll throw his sizable frame at Bryce Cartwright, but he's held up with some assistance there from Paul Vaughan. Thurston, first receiver, Caesar second. And Joel Thompson back out there as well. There's the line. It's only a couple of metres away. Caesar's the dummy half. Thurston is the first receiver. Maroa stuck a foot out. They'll get this back with another set of 6. They've had the ball for an eternity down this end. Tyrone Peachy. He plays it to Nathan Peach now. Right in the middle of the field. Ball's come out. Fafita loses it. And then McDonald with a run from dummy half.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of a player sticking his foot out there with the kick going through. You've really got to put faith in the outside men that they've got it covered. Fortunately for Tepai Maroa, Andrew Fafita came up with a knock-on second tackle. Otherwise the pressure would have been maintained as Paul Vaughan is pushed sideways and backwards and forwards and eventually plays it.
Fred to Sam Lasone. Stopped by Ryan James. That's the halfway line. Here's Vaughan once more. Now a Dragon. There's the offload. Moses with the speed of Mead. Now to Moses backing up. He puts the kick through. This will be brilliant if they can get there. It's just battered dead.
Yeah, it's off Blake Ferguson.
This is the way to play for the World All-Star, struggling for combinations. So play off second phase, get the offload, then get the speed man attacking some big tied forwards like Mood was on for Feeder. A nice kick here from Moses. They're struggling for combinations, the World All-Stars. Just power forward with their big man, offload out the back and then find some speed men with footwork and speed to take on some of these tied big Indigenous forwards. Nice play.
The kick travels 46 metres. And Paul Vaughan.
He's been very good, Paul Vaughan. He's had some really good charges.
Here's Cook to the Sone. It's up to the 20. Tyrone Peachy with Leilani Lahu. 2 Panthers stop him. Mbai finds Cooper. Joel Thompson's rattled as he made that tackle low there around Cooper's legs. He's come reeling away from that as Orbison tries to work his way towards the Indigenous line. He's put down right in the middle of the field. Cooker goes to the right-hand side, juggled by Vaughan, just as Gus gave him a rap. We've done it again.
No, it was a hard pass.
Let's go to Brad.
Just talking to the medical staff from the World All-Stars, and Jared Kroger, it is his left knee, and it's on the inside, so it's some medial, so that's good news for Keeper Fears and Ricky Stewart, so that's normally not as bad as the ACL, which normally takes a bit longer, so sort of positive news in a bad situation.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah, I got the feeling it shocked him more than anything. You know, sometimes it really looks bad and it feels bad, but then when you get moving there, and that's a good result if they're saying there's no ACL damage. So.
Thurston drives a low kick. It's taken by David Mead. He's looked likely, hasn't he? Interesting to see where he fits into that Broncos outfit. They've got some outside back depth. They've signed Moses Pangai and Tautau Moga. They've got Tom Opacek, who made his mark. Jonas Pearson, who's had a taste in the NRL. And, of course, Benji Marshall's there too. And there's talk around him potentially playing in the centres. He's got a few options there, Wayne Bennett. He's end by. Wants this to take a break towards the sideline, but it went out on the full.
Just here. Go, Matt. Oh, Marcus here. Hand over.
Hand over, Mitchell. Hand over.
What's the temperature out there now?
Wait.
How hot are we?
Well, they were telling me just before half-time that it was 33 degrees, which was actually hotter than when we went on air at 7:30.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
Mitchell, take the shoulder. Hold on to me and hold. Go.
Oh, Brad might have an answer for us.
Yeah, big news. It's actually gotten hotter. The humidity has risen. There is not a breath of air. There's no air.
No one can breathe.
I'm struggling
Brad.
to breathing.
that can't be healthy for anyone.
TC's taking all my breath.
There's a bit of hot air down there. Here's Latu. Stopped by Cook within 5 of the line. Gagai, Thurston, Graham. Stopped by Matautia. Here's the last. What can Thurston come up with for us? It's a flat kick. It's a ripper straight to Dan Gagai on the bread basket.
Easy.
That was like a soccer corner.
It was pretty freakish, wasn't it? He thought about grubber kick into the end goal. He thought about a little lob to get a restart. And then out of the corner of his eye, he sees Gagai and thought, I'll just put a little flat one across field here and see if he can get it back. Look, he had 2 little thinks and then went bang.
So those soccer corners when they come through and head of the ball and get into space.
I watched him train with the Indigenous team a couple of years ago, and I went out to their last training session, and they had about 20 sets of 6. And in the 20 sets of 6, he put 20 of the best fifth tackle kicks in you could ever see. There was banana kicks and grubber kicks and curling grubber kicks and all sorts of things. And you look at it and you say it's a fluke. Well, he fluked it 20 times out of 20. He was just brilliant.
Even Dane Gagai, after scoring it, ran across shaking his head as if you are a freak. Darren Lockyer.
Yeah, with Dane, what's that one called, mate?
That's just the JT specialty.
Yeah.
Mate, just be on side and he'll put it where you want it, and I just had to be there.
So you didn't know it was going to be between the winger and the centre?
No, mate, I was looking for a repeat set, and then he just put it on a dime, and I just had to make sure I catched it. I bombed one in the first half, so definitely make sure of that one.
Well done, mate, brilliant.
Cheers, cheers.
No.
It was like a Tom Brady pass, wasn't it? He just dissected the defence with a kick off the foot that landed perfectly.
Are you saying JT's going to the NFL?
Well, if you can kick it, he could. He couldn't throw it that far.
Well, that's 3/4 time anyway. 28 points to 8. The Indigenous All-Stars over the World Team here in Newcastle. The break and back with more after this. The 2017 NRL All-Stars brought to you by Harvey Norman here in Newcastle. It's the Indigenous All-Stars 28 over the World All-Stars 8. We're heading to the final quarter of this game. Let's go to you, Brad.
Thanks, Matt. It was interesting. The parting comment from all the boys was, this game won't be here for 2 years, so let's make the most of it. That's how much it means to them. And watch straight away. Thursday was talking about taking 2 to the left post, and he was adamant about saying a little bit further than the left post, and let's have a shot over the right-hand side where they had all that luck in the first half. Let's see if they get that on. Lockie.
Yeah, it was a pretty short meeting over here, Fred, but the words from the coach was, let's have a crack, boys. Let's play some footy, use our skill and see where we go. I mean, they're down by 20 minutes to go. So you're going to see some football. If the passes stick, look out. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Darren. Was the World All-Stars captain in the inaugural game in 2010, our own Darren Lockyer.
Then a reshuffle. Chris McQueen is actually defending at left centre alongside Quiliuate and Moses Mbai. So that's the side that Thurston wants to have a look at. Just have a look at him exploring that gap between Moses Mbai and Chris McQueen.
It's a shallowish, floating sort of kick-off from Jared Veal. It was caught with relative ease there by South Sydney's Kyle Turner. There's Jack Bird. Haven't seen him for a while. Scored the first try of the night after 4 minutes. He'll bring up his 50th NRL game in the opening game of the season in a couple of weeks' time. The Sharks against the Broncos.
Very little of Ash Taylor too after that explosive opening 20 minutes. Aidan Caesar's been out there for, I think, the last 40. Is Dane Gagai proving very difficult to contain once again.
There is Aidan Caesar.
Tyrone Roberts playing out of dummy half. Hasn't seen a lot of game time tonight.
Gives it to Thurston. He puts it high in the air. Look at the accuracy on that. It came down a metre out from the goal line, and David Mead did well to give himself some time and then have to leap and take the catch under pressure. Jordan Turner. Oh, Mead's limping away now. He'll be okay. Shake that one off and keep going. Now McQueen. Well, that's 3 tackles gone. They've only just got to their own 10-metre line. The World All-Stars, Damien Cook, Quiliuate. That's better. Strong running from the veteran of 5 tests for Australia and 3 origins. He was the Dally-M winger of the year 3 years running. Quiliuate, 2010, 11 and 12. Timber chase, well executed. Orbison off Moses, who then backs up. He might think about another kick. He gives the pass away instead, and they can't hang on to it. That was David Mead, who was limping at one end of the ground and nearly scored at the other.
Well, it deserved a try, that little passage of play, didn't it? They did all the hard work, and it just came down to Mead, catch the ball and run.
Oh. And I'll tell you what, the referee went down, but boy, he showed some style in getting back up. Like, you know, when you trip on a crack in the cement and then you try and act as though I meant that?
Yes.
The referee's just done the same thing after going over.
There's nothing funnier than a referee hitting the ground.
And I don't believe him. I don't think he meant it.
Even the Russian judge has given him full marks for that one. Here's Caesar. Short pass Turner, hit hard by Mbai.
Well, that last passage from the world side is what Darren Lockyer was talking about. Having a crack, the kick out on the full. Little chip over the top from Mitchell Moses, taken by Mitch Orbison. Moses gets the football back. There it is, little one over. Mitch Orbison does really well. Mitchell Moses tries to eat up as many metres to commit Blake Ferguson as he could. David Mead couldn't catch it.
That final pass from Moses, he's picked up an injury. Hobbled off the other side of the field. Just got tackled from behind after he passed that ball to David Mead.
Did you mention injury to Tom Opacek for Brisbane? That starting the season for the Broncos?
I think he's been in rehab, but I'm not sure whether he's ready to start or not. I know he was hurt towards the end of last season, but there's some real depth in that back line, isn't it?
Well, Jack Reed has retired as well. Right. They've lost Hodges, they've lost Copley in recent times.
So Vaughan now a couple short. Stopped by Graham. Way to Cook. The way to Mbai. Finds the in goal. Oh, Whiten. He spilt it. It goes in touch in goal.
I've got it, mate.
Off Jack Whiten. Goal line. Ball's
There doesn't seem to be any stress there from Mitchell Moses. Whatever it was, he's walked it off. So it's good news for the Tigers fans. Lovely little kick from Mbai. Whiten couldn't get the handle on it, but he was able to knock it dead.
On the clock, boys.
We're not just the home of rugby league, we're now the home of netball here on the wide world of sports. And Suncorp Super Netball begins with a bang next Saturday. It's a local derby triple header. First, the Giants against the Swifts, and all New South Wales affair, that one. Then it's Victoria's turn with the Vixens against Collingwood, followed by the Thirebirds and the Lightning in the Queensland clash. And all games are live and free on 9Gem. So some fantastic netball action throughout the course of the season. Great to be able to bring you all that. There's Bryce Cartwright. 12 short here of the Indigenous All-Stars line. Damien Cook away to Mitch Orbison, away to David Mead, and turned underneath to Sione Matautia, who crashes his way to within a couple of the line. Plays it to Cook, stab to the in goal, Mead chasing, oh, patience, good patience shown there by Bevan French, who now scoots back to the 20, takes the quick tap and takes off. And finds his way almost to the 40-metre line. Now Gagai up against McQueen, backhanded to Ferguson. Keeps it in field, it bounces for Caesar. Oh, good shot there on Caesar as well. He picked up the impact there, sideline. Andrew Fafita. That's his 18th hit up of the match, Andrew Fafita. Thurston tries to dive through a gap. Good defence there from Turner and Matautia. Now Ryan James. Aimed his run there at the smaller man in Damien Cook from South Sydney. Here's the fourth. It comes to Thurston, who goes to Graham, who offers a short pass away. Turner there crushes out of the line, along with Cartwright to stop Latrell Mitchell. 3 short, last play. Thurston. Well, the kick's gone backwards. And it bounces up here from McQueen, who tries to dart upfield, but he's put down by Blake Ferguson. Well, he's put through one of the best kicks you've ever seen a couple of minutes ago, JT, and that one's in stark contrast. We'll let him off. He doesn't rarely make a mistake, does he?
Well, Blake Ferguson struggling. Leg injury, he's limped back out onto his right wing, to the sideline, coming straight off. Inglis back on.
Cartwright swatting away Thurston, passing to Matautia, who then found Orbison. Tyrone Roberts comes in and affects the tackle. There's Mitch Moses with some ice on the foot there. He didn't seem too despondent, although Jared Croker certainly is.
Yeah, the man to kick that ball out, Bryce Cartwright, he holds the key for the World All-Stars. They just have to give him the ball and then have support around him. You create something with footwork or an offload.
Now Jordan Turner's got the knock.
Yeah, it's where the fatigue factor comes in now. There'll be 16 NRL coaches sitting up here watching this, just begging this game to be over. Because as the players get tired, the risk of injury, it's very early in the season, it's very hot out there.
Oh, the tap on was nice if you're an Indigenous All-Stars fan, because it landed straight with Dane Gagai. There's Inglis, confronted firstly by his South Sydney colleague in Damien Cook. Yes, Brad.
With Blake Ferguson, mate, you wobbled off. How are you feeling?
Oh, I just got hit on the bursa, on the knee. It'll be right for next week, I guess.
Well, don't do it to us, mate. It's Rooster fans.
Yeah, I know. I want to put out the tackles like that. Get it in the knees.
Go and rest up.
Diagnosing his own injuries on the sideline. I love it. Dr. Ferguson. Bursa. One of his best.
Wade Graham rolls it off the left boot. Pete's giving chase. Gavin Cooper's happy to see it dead.
He's been one of the stars tonight, Wade Graham. Been a staple out there on that left side. Played most of the game and he's been really strong. Shapes for another great season for Cronulla. Very solid. He's a real leader now. A couple of changes made too with Nathan Peets coming back in. Ash Taylor.
Don't interfere with the tackle.
The crowd on a very, very hot day here in the Hunter. Just over the 20,000 mark.
So the kick's landed for Latu. They tried the short one and it's backfired. Leilani Latu jags a try. He scored in successive All-Stars games at Suncorp last year and in Newcastle this evening, and the Indigenous team 32-8 with a kick from the sideline to come. Darren Lockyer, you're with the try scorer.
Yeah, big fella. What were you thinking when they did the short kick-off?
I thought, I can't give up here. JT's just brought his experience down, you know, don't let your mate down, and that's what I try to do for the boys. So, yeah.
Well done, good to get over the line.
Yeah, of course, man. It's always good to get over in the line on the All-Stars. I'm 2 from 2 now,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, well done.
Thanks,
Enjoy
brother.
the rest.
Thanks, brother.
Big Leilani Latu from the Penrith Panthers. Here's a good one from Caesar. Straight between them.
Gus, I'll bring you in on Latu. Incredible skill.
Yeah, he is. I've said it before, he's a kid that came through the Bulldogs system around the same time as Clemmer. And there wasn't much difference between them when they were very young. Lani got a number of injuries. He had shoulder injuries and ankle injuries. And David Clemmer got the jump on him. We know what a great player David Clemmer is. And Lani Latu was a very late maturer. But the one thing we persevered with was the fact that he had skill. He had beautiful hands, soft hands. And once his body recuperated, and he's a big, strong lad, and once he got himself fit, we just thought there was a footballer in there, and he's really starting to blossom now. We've signed him for the next... He's got this year and 3 more, so he's going to be a Panther for a long time.
Oh.
He
got stitches too.
He got married through the off-season, and that's just as well, given he's just cut his head open.
He didn't even know he'd been cut. He couldn't work out why the referee had blown the whistle.
Tackle 2, Joey.
So it's been a positive week for this Indigenous All-Stars team. Will conclude on a positive note as well. They come into this game annually really wanting to win and put their best foot forward, and this has been a commanding performance from them.
Well, Lani Latu got married during the off-season. Regan Campbell-Gillard got married just recently during the off-season. Tyron Teachy had a baby, became a father during the off-season. So they've been busy, the Panther boys.
Plenty of love out there, Gus.
A lot of love. A lot of love.
Shot clock is off.
Yes, Brad?
Joey, are you going to move out to Penrith?
Ha ha ha, Brad.
Short one to the ribs.
Got me.
I could respond on your behalf, Joey, if you like, because We'll
Quite happy, thank you, Brad, at the moment.
We'll leave it
a
there.
nice place at Glenmore Park.
So you want a ducted air conditioner? It was 46 degrees out there today. Here's an intercept from Fafita.
Oh dear. Yeah, the past is the past.
You wouldn't want him out there. He'd be turning up at training and making a nuisance of himself every day, Joey.
Can you leave me alone? Got feelings, you know. That one fragile.
So Gagai playing it.
They've been really impressive, haven't they? Really played as a unit in both attack and defence, and there was a little window of opportunity for the World All-Stars to make a game of it, but they took Jonathan Thurston back out there and he snuffed it out pretty quickly. He ended the game, scored one, set one up. He's virtually been cruising ever since.
Orbison to Cooper. Fafita still going with Ryan James. The two starting front rowers for the Indigenous All-Stars. They've been outstanding, played big minutes. So's this guy, Regan Campbell-Gillard, in a team which has been handily beaten here. He's been sensational. He's back there again, Campbell-Gillard. One-handed offload, juggled around. Nano McDonald comes down with a set of 6 at his disposal, courtesy of the touch. Inside the final 5 minutes, 34-8. The 7th renewal of this game, but the head-to-head was split at 3 victories each leading in tonight, so the Indigenous team will edge ahead by 1 game. Damien Cook, Moses Mbai, Gavin Cooper. Taken by Peachy. And Chris Smith there. Maroa. Runs at his old Parramatta teammate in Nathan Peets. 3 short of the line. 3 tackles gone on this set for the world team. Mbai passes for Cooper. That was low. And the momentum was stopped there because Cooper had to bend down and take the catch. Confronted by Ash Taylor in defence. Here's Jordan McLean of the Melbourne Storm. Cook tries to kick for himself. He copped the check in running, and the ball's on the ground and recovered by the Indigenous All-Stars.
I think Tyron Peachy has done a tremendous job tonight as well. He played most of last season as a centre and has pretty much trained all off-season in that position, yet tonight has played in the forwards, in the middle, on the edge, done a stack of tackling, run the ball hard.
Gus, for me, he'd be suited in Origin football in that jersey 14. Coming on when the forwards are tired with his footwork and incredible speed around the run.
Well, I've said it for 10 years. New South Wales, not since Craig Wing have they had that sort of impact bench player who can come on and play anywhere and really turn the game or take advantage when you're on top.
Here they go up the middle of the field. It's with Tyrone Roberts. Ash Taylor was just shoved off the ball there, and a penalty
on Ashley Taylor by Moses Mbai. Just a penalty, mate.
Yeah, I think Craig Wing, we haven't had a player like Craig Wing for over a decade coming off the bench for the Blues, and Tyron Peachy is that type of player because you can put him anywhere and he'll have an impact, particularly at Origin when they start to get a little bit tired at the back end of each half. And remains to be seen though. There's a lot of good players to pick from.
The man tackled as he sights on a Blues jumper, Nathan Peets. So is this man. His Titans teammate Ryan James. Can they sneak over again here, the Indigenous side? Here's Inglis. I'd like to see him get across the stripe. He won't on this occasion. 3 short of the line. Mitchell to Caesar. And now to Fafita. Still running freely. With under 2 minutes left in the contest. Backhanded to Jack Whiten, who had the ball knocked out. And now McQueen's lost it, and James has dived on it.
Short of the line. Short of the line.
knock on against the Indigenous team there.
Just make sure we get 6 here.
Let's back in,
He's
boys.
an awkward big thing, Andrew, for Feeder, isn't he? He's just so ungainly and unorthodox.
Let's get 6 in, gents.
He troubles them when he runs the ball. He pushes people off. And he gets the ball around. And look at this little deft little offload out the back there.
Thanks, Greg. Put it in, Tyrone.
So now we set our sights on the start of the premiership season. It all gets underway in the first week of March. We'll open the season in the Shire. It's the Premiers, the Cronulla Sharks, against the Brisbane Broncos. Hard to believe it's come around so quickly, but aren't we glad it has? Bring it on. 2017 promises to be an exciting season for the game, with so many teams staking a claim for the title. So many young, emerging, exciting teams as well. Bryce Cartwright with the Panthers comes to mind. Canberra Raiders will be better for their experience of last year. The Titans building nicely. Of course, the Sharks and the Storm, who contested the decider last year, I'll have something to say about that against the young up-and-coming Tyros as well. We'll see it all here on the wide world of sports throughout 2017, all live and free.
Comprehensive tonight. We've got 6 tries to 2, and the 2 tries scored by the world team within the space of 3 minutes, just before half-time.
So that will see us out. A deserved win to the Indigenous All-Stars, led by Jonathan Thurston and Greg Inglis. They've prevailed and been too good, 34 points to 8.